Now, there's been a lot of talk and some controversy, maybe even a little controversy, about new Minnesota Vikings general manager Kwesi Adofo-Mensah and how he's doing things a little bit differently. He's coming from a research and development background and analytics background, and his first draft made some big time bold moves, made some big time calculated risks and gambles, trading in division twice, potentially fleecing the Lions and the Packers. I don't care what you say. I don't care what you say, man. But some people have come out of the woodwork. Anonymous sources have come out of the woodwork and criticized Kwesi's draft just a little bit. Now, of course, there's going to be an axe to grind. Whether it's anonymous scouts, anonymous executives, anonymous GMs, they've done things the same way as like, oh, we don't like change. And Kwesi's analytics guy, and you need to be an area scout. You need to be on the road. You need to make $25,000 a year. You need to be on the road 250 nights a year, and you have to have dip and eat dinner at Denny's every night, and drink 16 beers at the local Chili's. Like, you have to do that before you become a GM. Please. So this is from The Athletic. Per The Athletic's Mike Sando, Adofo-Mensah has earned a reputation around the league as an analytics guy and has set the precedent that he is somebody who will almost always look to trade back in the name of value, per one exec who critiqued his move back in the first round. You set a precedent for future trades. They already know you are an analytics guy, so you're probably going to want to trade down. And then with your first trade, you go pretty far from the traditional point system. Oh, traditional point system. Oh, you mean the one that Jimmy Johnson made up on the back of a napkin 30 years ago? That one, traditional point system. Oh, rare. So it sets the tone. Maybe our first offer will always be lower because we know it is Kwesi and he will want to trade down. So to a degree, they have a point. Maybe it does set a precedent, but he didn't get worked over in the subsequent trades, especially the Packers one. Kwesi definitely held his ground and got a ton of value from the Greasy Grimy Green Bay Packers and Gutekunst. But you set a bet precedent trades. You already know you're an analytics guy. But the whole thing is that Spielman was not an analytics guy, and he trade down, get as many 7th round picks as possible. But what Kwesi did is that he maneuvered a lot in day 2, where there's a lot of value to be had in this draft. So I don't think that Kwesi just came in with a static strategy. I think that he knew that the makeup of this class is like, hey, there's only a handful of blue chip players. We're going to pass on Jameson Williams at 12, even though he certainly could have been one. We're going to pass on Cal Hamilton at 12, even though he could be one. Same thing with Linderbaum. And we could move down. We'll get multiple bites at the apple day 2, as well as 32, where we'll take Lewis Cine, and we'll be good to go. And yes, what phrase did they use? Traditional point system. Okay. The Jimmy Johnson point system. So Jimmy Johnson didn't like the Vikings-Lions trade, but guess what? Jimmy Johnson loved the Vikings-Packers trade. So what? Right, and also the new Spielberger Fitzgerald trade chart, which I think makes a lot more sense. It values the picks a little bit more, especially later on, and also takes into account salary cap issues. But the Vikings, they blew away the Lions. They absolutely dominated the Vikings-Lions trade, moving down from 12 to 32. Getting 34 and 66. Now, yes, at the time, I was pretty upset giving up 46 more than anything else, or potentially getting a future first-round pick. But if you're focused on now, if you're all in on winning now, what would you rather have? A high second-round pick or a future first-round pick? Even though with the Lions, that future first-round pick could be pretty nice, but again, that's next year. It's never too late for now, if you're a fan of 30 Rock. And then, by the modern charts, the Vikings dominated the Packers trade, just completely smoked them. Like, no one's going to talk about that either. Like, if Jameson Williams busts, which is possible, and if Christian Watson's busts, which is also possible, no one's going to talk about how the Vikings fleeced the Lions and the Packers, respectively, because the Vikings never get the credit, and they always get the hate. They always get the blame. It's weird how everything always slants and cuts in one direction. Just kind of crazy, right? Like, no one's ever going to... Christian Watson, like, if he busts, like, they're never going to blame Rodgers. They're never going to blame Gutekunst. They're never going to blame the Packers. They're just like, oh, you gave up two second rounders for 1 second rounder, and he busted. You gave up a ton of value, man. Just get out of here. And then the Vikings and the Colts trade. So the Vikings got worked there a little bit. Don't care. You moved up for Booth. You got your guy. And also, you gave up... you're already still in the 3rd round at 66, and you took Asamoah. You gave up 77 and an extra 6th round pick, and who cares? Who cares about the 6th round pick? You had 3. So yeah, that's whatever at that point. And if you look at the Vikings on the Fitzgerald-Spielberger trade chart. So they came into the draft, with 12, 46, 77, etc. Didn't have a fourth-round pick. They exited with a 1, 2, 2, 3, and a 4. And then also they picked up an extra fifth-rounder. Yes, they give up a future fourth-rounder, but it's whatever there. But calculating the value of what the Vikings had coming into the draft. So you had the 8 selections and the future fourth rounder. That tallies up to 5874 points on the Fitzgerald-Spielberger chart. And then the Vikings after the draft with 10 selections racked up 6,482 points of value. That's plus 608 according to their charts, which is equivalent to fourth round pick 112 overall. So I'm okay. I'm certainly okay with how Kwesi operated in this draft, man. Plus, look at this freaking class. Look at this freaking class. I know we're out a fourth-round pick again next year, but who cares? F them picks. But Lewisine, again, the value of Hamilton at 12 or Lewisine at 32, even though I love me some Kyle Hamilton, he could be a unicorn. Give me some Lewisine, man. Plus, he had 2 Dose second-round picks, and Booth and Ingram both could be week 1 starters. Brian Asamoah is going to be a friggin' rock star in the 3rd round. You didn't have a 4th-round pick, but then you maneuvered and got Caleb Evans, who could be starting on the outside. Useze Otomehu could really contribute along the defensive line at that 5-tech spot. Ty Chandler could be a legit true blue 3rd-down back that the Vikings haven't had in a hot second. Verdarian Lowe could develop into a nice swing tackle backup. Jalen Naylor, if he stays healthy, could be that wide receiver 3 or 4 plus special teamer, especially on punt returns. Nick Muse, I mean, tight end 2 is wide open. Nick Muse, younger brother of Tanner Muse, former Clemson great linebacker, back in the day. Also, I think he's in the league still. I think he's on the Seahawks. But yeah, he could. I'm not saying that he will as a 7th-round pick, but you could see a world where he ends up as tight end 2 of the Vikings this year, which is kind of crazy, man. So I am in love with this draft, and the fact that people still poo-poo on Kwesi's draft. He's an analytics guy, and of course he's an analytics guy. That's his background. And from the modern day analytics, Kwesi won. Not only did he win, he smoked, he destroyed, he cast asunder, he salted the earth so nothing can grow again in Detroit and Green Bay. And no one talks about that because everyone still refers to, oh, the Jimmy Johnson chart says this. Jimmy Johnson doesn't care, man. Jimmy Johnson's done with football. He does a studio job. He's down in Miami. He's having a couple beers, and he's fishing. That's all that Jimmy Johnson does. He's probably laughing at that trade chart. He's like, I don't know. I just made it up on the spot, man. But it's okay. Let them hate. If they hate, let them hate, and watch the money pile up. And by money, I mean Jerome Barty's 12 in the next 10 years. Woo. Fired up, man. But your thoughts are thoughts. League execs thinks that Kwesi's just an analytics guy. Feh. To that I say feh. Let us know your thoughts and our thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Most support the work. Put a little something in the Venmo. But until next time, Skol, production value.